Today's topic is arbitration and conciliation, a high-level comparison. Before going into the topic, let us understand the terminology difference and dispute. We might have seen these words, but there are some nuances associated with these words. When you look at the word dispute as a general meaning, it says an assertion of rights by one party and repudiation by another party. Whereas the word difference, it has a wider meaning. It can be anything. It can be minor differences or major differences. In the construction sector, we used to define in two different terms. We call it as dispute and claim. The claim is synonymous to the difference. So this is something which can be resolved between the parties by themselves. When that is not possible, then it will escalate as a dispute, which demands a third party to resolve the issue. So the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1940, it has used the word difference. But the new Act 1996 and its subsequent amendments, it has the word dispute. However, the word dispute has not been defined. So, as I have just mentioned, the dispute is something which cannot be resolved by the parties. So, it has to be escalated to the third party, who may be an arbitrator, conciliator, mediator, any other ADR forum. Now let's look into the differences between arbitration and conciliation. In the wider sense, arbitration, conciliation, negotiation, mediation, expert determination, we all know that they come under the purview of ADR. Between arbitration and conciliation, there are many differences, but there is one similarity. In both the process, a third person is involved to resolve the disputes. And another similarity, the third person, he need not be a lawyer. He can be a subject matter expert. So now let's look into the differences between these two ADR process, arbitration and conciliation. The first difference is conciliation is for the existing disputes. So we should be clear about it. It is pertaining to the existing disputes. Whereas we might have seen in the arbitration agreement, the arbitration is for existing as well as for future disputes. So we should have that clarity on which dispute it is applied. The next one is the process. We all know that we will send a notice in case of arbitration before the process is commenced. Similarly, in the conciliation process also, the parties, they used to send written invitation. One party will send a written invitation and the other party will send the written acceptance. However, this invitation, the word itself, it says it is only invitation. So it is not a binding one. The other party, he may either accept or he can decline it. There is one exception to the statutory conciliation, such as MSMED conciliation. There you cannot decline. Except that other conciliation process, one party he will send the invitation for conciliation, and other party he may either accept it or leave it. It's not a binding one. Whereas the arbitration agreement, it is a binding one. We know that. Whenever there is an arbitration agreement in the contract, then the parties, they don't have any other choice but to resort to arbitration. Therefore, when a suffering party, when he initiates the arbitration process by sending an notice, by sending an arbitration notice, the other party, he cannot decline it because it is a binding one. The next difference is when the conciliation process is started, you cannot go to any other process. It has to be resolved only by conciliation. Only when you don't find a resolution under the conciliation, then the parties, they can escalate it to the arbitration or to litigation if the contract permits. So it is clearly stated in the section 77 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 and the subsequent amendments. Whereas the arbitration agreements, it allows for mediation also. They call it as ARB, arbitration, mediation, arbitration. They will commence arbitration, and the arbitrators or the tribunal, they will explore the possibility of amicable solution by way of mediation. And if mediation is possible, they will facilitate the parties to go for mediation. If an agreement is reached under the mediation, then the parties, they will come back to the arbitrator, and the arbitrator, he will produce a consent award under section 30. It does not require any reasoning. We all know that. Therefore, the arbitral agreement, it allows other process also. Even you can include conciliation also in the arbitration agreement, because it is purely parties' willingness. And the next one is number of arbitrators. Again, we all know that as far as arbitration is concerned, the number of arbitrators should be even. If the parties, they fail to appoint this even number of arbitrators, then the act says that the default number is a sole arbitrator. Therefore, if the parties, they find it difficult to appoint 2 arbitrators, then they will approach the court to appoint a solo arbitrator. Whereas in case of conciliation, by default only one conciliator is sufficient. Again, there is an exception, statutory conciliation under the MSMED Act. So there, it has to be notified by the respective governments, state government. In case of Tamil Nadu, it states that the conciliation board will be 3 in numbers, 2 conciliators and 1 chairman will be there. So there is one exception. Otherwise, it will be 1 conciliator only. And the next one, the role of the persons. As far as the conciliation is concerned, the conciliator role is to facilitate the parties, to help and assist the parties to reach an amicable settlement. So it is to his discretion that he may either have a combined meeting or individual meeting with the parties. And the conciliator, he will explore the possibility of amicable settlement. Whenever he sees an opportunity for amicable settlement, then he will draft one. He will circulate to the parties. He will get their feedback. As per the feedback, he will redraft it, and he will try to get the consent of the parties. Once the consent is received, then it will become an award, which cannot be challenged like arbitration award. So that is as per the section 72 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act. Whereas arbitrator role is not only assisting the parties, but he also arbitrates and resolves the disputes by making a rescind award. If the award is drafted by the solo arbitrator or by the tribunal, they must add the reasoning to the award. Otherwise, if it is a consent award, then no need for reasoning. Therefore, the role, that there is a difference in role also. The first one, for the conciliator, he will just facilitate the parties. Whereas the arbitrator not only facilitate the parties, and they will actively arbitrate and produce an arbitral award by themselves, rescind award. And the next one, as far as the conciliation is concerned, whenever they are sending the invitation for the conciliation, the party who is sending the invitation, he should briefly identify the subject of the dispute. Whereas in the arbitration agreement, the jurisdiction will be well defined. Therefore, if a party, if he issues an arbitration notice for a dispute which is not covered in the arbitration agreement, then the award produced out of that arbitration process will become invalid. So that is the basic difference. It is not the case of conciliation. Conciliation, you need not define what are the disputes. Only thing is, it should be the existing dispute. Otherwise, there is no boundary for the transaction. It is very much valid in case of complex projects where you have n number of activities going on. But in the arbitration agreement, you should define it clearly. What are the disputes will be covered under this arbitration agreement? So that should be well defined. In case of government projects, the arbitration agreement that should clearly point out what are the disputes that can be resolved in this arbitration agreement, especially the contracts related to the railways, airports, telecom, because in these entities, the contract will stipulate that certain disputes like price escalation and all, that has to be resolved only by their higher authority. So if that is stated in the contract, then that is like an exclusion to the arbitration agreement. So the parties, they must be careful about the jurisdiction. So there is an exclusion to the dispute. It is not so in case of conciliation. Next, I think this issue, most of us, they might have come across in the moot court. Can a conciliator act as an arbitrator? So there are two scenarios. In the international scenario, Article 19 of the UNCITRAL Act, it clearly stipulates that a conciliator shall not be an arbitrator in the same dispute. Whereas in the domestic scenario, under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 and subsequent amendments, Section 80, it stipulates the role of conciliator. It says, conciliator shall not act as an arbitrator or as a representative or counsel of a party in any arbitral or judicial proceeding in respect of a dispute that is the subject of the conciliation proceedings. Clearly defined. Also, it says the conciliator shall not act as a witness in any arbitral or judicial proceedings. Therefore, it is very clear that conciliator cannot act as an arbitrator in the same dispute. Okay, again, there is an exception. Let us see what is that. In case of MSMED Act cases, there is an exception. So there is a case law, Welspun Corporation versus MSME Facilitation Council, Punjab and others. So Justice Kannan, he pronounced the judgment that the council appointed by the state to conciliate on the termination of the conciliation proceedings shall have the power to act as an arbitrator if there is an arbitration clause agreement. Thus, the council can arbitrate in the given dispute. So here, the exception is there. Already I have mentioned that under the statutory conciliation, the respective state governments, they will define how many number of conciliators will be there. So in the conciliation proceedings, if they are unable to reach a facilitated agreement, then of course it will escalate to the next level, that is arbitration. In that arbitration proceedings, either one of the council members or all the three people, they can act as the arbitration tribunal. Why? Because we all know that for arbitration and conciliation, there is no prescribed educational qualification. Only the subject matter expert, they should be there. Only the parties concerned should be there for the appointment of arbitrators. Therefore, this is an exception for the statutory conciliation proceedings. The same facilitation council, they can act as a arbitrator or arbitration tribunal, or they can go for another institutional arbitration. It is to the discretion of the parties and the council.